very good morning to everyone and a warm welcome from the KnowledgeHut team. Thank you for joining us for today's session, and we are glad to have you with us. I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, who is Mr. Vikas, a passionate Agile coach with 18 plus years of versatile experience in Agile coaching and training, change agent, servant leadership, and Agile project management, with prior experience in software development across internet advertising, travel, and hospitality domains. Vikas is a leading thinker in applying Agile, Scrum, Lean practices with a focus on value delivery. Also, he has worked closely with different levels of leadership to align and transform them into new ways of working. And without any further delay, I would like to hand the session over to Vikas.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And welcome all to this session on thinking lean in product development. Okay, great. And see, broadly, let me also talk about the intent and the context here. So basically, what are we going to look at over here? I think the last few decades, there has been a good progression, right, in terms of adopting the best practices, right? We saw since 2002, for last 2 decades, I think the Agile adoption has picked up very well. There is a very good understanding in the industry, right? We see good implementations existing in the industry. And, of course, also, a couple of new challenges coming up, right, as well, that we are aware of. And at the same time, the other good thing that is happening in the industry is, okay, there has been a lot of learning from the lean principles, right? Back in 1980s, I think very well adopted lean principles by the manufacturing industries, right? And since they embraced these principles very early, and we are getting to see some new terms like value stream maps and so on and so forth that is impacting the development organization. So broadly the thinking was to give some insights on thinking lean in the product development, and this is the area which is progressing very faster. While agility is still progressing in the industry, but there are certain challenges now which are being referred. So lean product development is being referred by many industry best frameworks like SAFe, Spotify, LESS, DAD, and many, right? So a lot of these new frameworks which are evolving and taking Agile as the foundation, they are starting to look into the lean body of knowledge, right? So here we will just try to cover the elemental concept, and typically because the in-depth lean thinking is a big topic, and okay, how it's being addressed in different frameworks, we can have the Q&A as well at the end of the session. Okay, quick introduction of myself. Almost coming with 18 plus, now close to 19 years of experience from IT background. I started my career as a software developer, eventually progressed into the Scrum Master, and I think Agile coach was a natural progression that happened to me eventually quite early in the career. Having said that, apart from that, I'm also a swimmer. I do read books, and typically I'm also a sprinter or a runner. So let's quickly do a small poll, and let's get the understanding of the audience, right, in terms of Agile methodology, right? What is the experience we carry? So for this, I hope my screen is visible. It mentions menti.com, uses the code 5994078. So you can log into menti.com, punch in the code, and punch in your experience over here, right? So let's see the overall experience of the audience we have today. Okay, so coming back to my screen, so I assume mostly the participants are within 5 years of experience. Okay, and that's good, because as we are progressing on our journey, right, I think continuous learning is important, and as well, would be keen to see some inputs or questions from you on the Agile track. Okay, now let's talk about other important area. What are the common barriers that you see that causes the most issues within your teams, right? Now, generally, Agile transformations are mature in the industry. It's been two decades of learning that has gone into the Agile implementations within the industry. And of course, the industry has started reaping the benefit. But still, there are challenges, right? So we would like to learn from the participants here in terms of what are those challenges that you typically see in your teams, right? and in terms of which is impacting the team's commitment, impacting the team's delivery, right? So for this, again, we are going to use the online tool to really understand the typical causes that you see within your teams that impacts the team's output, right? And I'm going to go to the Menti for the same. Okay, so you will get so log into the mentimeter.com, again menti.com, and start posting the challenges. You can only post one challenge. Okay, let's say I have a challenge of coordination. Okay, I will say team coordination. Okay, so I can only post one challenge. So start writing your challenges over here, and we can see the outcomes over here from this group, the typical challenges that we see in the teams. Okay, we're getting the first response: collaboration. So let's give a minute for members to punch in the information here. Any other challenge, members? Please log into menti.com, use the code 5994078 to highlight the challenges that you see in the teams today. Okay, so time up. Let's get back. So yes, we do see at least the 4 results here: improper communication, lack of communication, maybe, I don't know, across the teams or within the team, collaboration, and undiscovered talent. So let me highlight the results from my last discussion with the different group, where people were coming with experience of 8 years, 10 years in the industry, and we could see the challenges that they highlighted, right? Dependency on other teams, right? Flying work, okay. Effective communication, lack of communication. I think a couple of these are already highlighted by this group, right? Silos, attitudes. People did mention about negative attitudes, right? Okay, mindset, very specific thing. Dependencies, right? Now you see, these are typically the challenges that we see, right? After even with 2 decades of agile transformations, of course, and industries are still learning, right? That means we still have some challenges which are existing. And okay, so from the agile point of view, right, we understand that the team, it applies well to the team, be any framework, Kanban, Scrum, it goes well with the team. But how about addressing the challenges overall at the organization level, right? Are we able to deliver the value quickly? Are we able to tackle the inter-team dependencies fast, right? Are we able to get the work delivered to customer? Are we able to understand the requirements with the customer continuously, right? How about the challenges which are outside the team scope, right? So you see, now is the time when we are looking at a fast-paced digital economy. These are the times we are in today, right? The businesses must respond rapidly to advances in the technology to remain competitive, right? Otherwise, you see, if the companies don't understand the urgency to move and adapt fast and change their ways of working, they will not succeed, right? They will simply fade away. We know what happened to companies like Nokia, Compaq, Kodak, which were once iconic market leaders, but they couldn't adapt to new business models, right? And today, I mean, if I name few companies, let's say, okay, Uber has the largest car fleet across the world without owning a single car today. Amazon has the largest set of product inventory available to the customers without owning a single product. Airbnb has the largest fleet of inventory without owning a single inventory in the world, right? Today you see how these companies have leveraged technology, right? how they have adapted to the changing technology and economic conditions, right? So that they become the leaders today. So yes, today the challenges are different. I mean, the challenges which we had 2 decades or 3 decades back, we are dealing with much complex system challenges today. You see, Apple as an organization has the largest space in the watchmaking industry, right? Apple is the biggest organization in the watchmaking industry. Right? Was Apple meant to produce a watches? No, but then today they are the biggest player in the watch market, right? So the whole gamut here is that we need to keep pace with the increasing complex interconnected world, right? You take example of Apple iPhone, Apple mobile. You're dealing with the big data, social media, and Internet of Things and whatnot, right? And at the same time, you have to defend your phone against your cyber attacks, theft of digital information, right? So we have to deal with all these aspects are interconnected. So if I want to bring in a new functionality in the Apple iPhone, I have to take a holistic view of the entire system. Okay, what are the components of Apple iPhone? How do they interact with each other? Oh, I need to also look at the security part, the compliance part, apart from delivering this feature, right? And the pressure is much higher on the organizations to deliver faster today. So there are two challenges we are facing today. We have to adapt quickly to the changing technology and the emerging conditions. Second, we have to have a holistic view to deliver the work continuously. Otherwise, you will end up delivering a feature in the Apple iPhone and then come back later and say, oh, sorry, I forgot to take care of the compliance and the security aspect for this feature. And now the phone is susceptible to cyber attacks and the theft of digital information, right? So we don't want to do that. So we are dealing with really complex systems today. And that's where the demand on the organization is high to start looking at different bodies of knowledge. Okay, from the agile world, we learned something. We learned as a team to quickly adapt and respond to the changes that are coming from the business side, right? And we try to change our development model. We moved from the waterfall SDLC development to agile style of development, where we try to deliver the working software very early in the release cycle, right? Every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's the industry practice. But the second framework that is being referred nowadays is also lean product development, right? And as I said, because it has been applied successfully, right? Back in the early days, right? You see this in 1980s. Specifically, I would name the company Toyota Production Systems, right? They applied the lean principles. They embraced the lean principles very well. And this is way back in 1980s. I mean, agility we formalized in 2002. But the lean principles came much way ahead in 1980s. And they came up with the concepts like value stream map, Kanban boards, total productive maintenance. These concepts came much way ahead in the manufacturing world. In fact, in 1997, we had the Lean Enterprise Institute. We started sharing these best practices from the manufacturing industry, right? And manufacturing industry, we started looking at, okay, fine. I mean, the challenges we are facing today as an organization, do we need to start looking beyond agility? Is there something beyond agile which will help us improve the flow of value within the organization and to the customer and back, right? Because we understand at the development team level we are doing good, but as an organization, oh, you see, we are still dealing in silos. We are still working as different functions in the organization. The value is not flowing across the functions seamlessly. So industry started looking into lean, right? Lean ways of working. And you see here we have Shingo who's saying that lean is a way of thinking, not a list of things to do. So this lean movement, we started way back early, and the industry started looking at, okay, can we pick up something from lean that can help us solve the challenges of today's modern world, right? Because organizations still need to be sustainable, it still need to move fast, right? We still need to deliver our products, solutions as quickly as possible, right? That's the emerging need today. That's the need of the time. Having said that, Okay, so industry started looking at different terminologies in the world of lean, right? In fact, very interestingly, if you go to the world of DevOps, they say that DevOps also emerge from the principles of lean, right? So that's another interesting topic for someday. They say that okay, DevOps is the result of applying lean principles to the technology area of the part of the organization, right? So you see DevOps, value streams, right? Now, what is the overall intent here? The objective here is that the terms that we see here, okay, value stream mapping, fine. I did talk about your total productive maintenance coming from Toyota production systems, right? Kaizen, just in time, right? The objective is that the lean principles is helping us to focus on how to create value for the customer, right? Through system thinking, right? So system thinking is a very, very critical element that lean has brought in, apart from different other elements, because that creates a constancy of purpose, right? Creates a kind of flow and the pull mechanism, puts in the concept of Kanban board to be applied across the system, right? So these jargons started picking up in the industry. Okay, system thinking, okay, your value stream mapping is nothing but again application. DevOps has come from there, right? Now the whole focus is now coming back to the same thing. Now from the industry standpoint, it's very important that we must understand the work. Okay, from the manufacturing standpoint, it was straightforward. The work happens at the shop floor. So manufacturing industries focus a lot on the improvements at the shop floor, where the manufacturing assembly happens, where the production line moves. So you have the supervisors, then they talk about all these terms, kaizens, improvements happening at the shop floor level, right? Now, when we are looking to apply lean in our context, we must understand the place of work to see the reality. Okay, where does the work really happen in the IT organization or in the product development organization? That's very important, right? And that is what is being emphasized a lot by these frameworks like safe framework, scale agile framework, large scale framework, Spotify framework, which are scaling agile frameworks. Those frameworks are really trying to really address, okay, what is the place where we work and how can we improve overall from there, right? So let's talk about a bit more concepts over here. And let's understand the lean more. And here you see the quotation from Taiichi Ono. Toyota style is not to create the results by working hard. It is a system that says there is no limit to people's creativity. People don't go to Toyota to work, they go there to think, right? And that's where the lean thinking is getting popular. And you saw in the earlier slide, lean means involve everyone. You cannot do lean only with the management, you cannot do lean only at the team level. Everybody who's supporting the value creation and the value delivery in the organization has to be part of the lean movement, right? So let's typically look at this video coming from the lean world. Let me quickly go to this video and show a quick video here. Okay, so let me come back to the slide, no problem, and I can talk about it, right? So am I audible there, Sushil?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. So this particular Gemba walk is nothing but it was talking about what is Gemba walk. One is nothing but observe how people are collaborating to get the work done, how the work is actually getting done, right? So from the development organization point of view, we may want to look at the teams which are involved in creating a product or the solution, right? In terms of how they are coordinating, collaborating to get the work done. Okay. So that's the first aspect. And the second aspect is around the Gamba of value consumption, right? Which is nothing but, you know, where the users are using the product. So you see the Gamba from our organization point of view, from the IT development point of view, we need to address the two dimensions. One is place where the product is created. That is the teams involved in creating a solution or service, whatever for the customers, right? There we have to see how they are doing it, what are the problems they are facing, right? and typically is it a team specific problem, or they need some help from outside the teams, from the organization. That is where the place product is created. So Gemba is all about solving the problems by seeing the problems, right? That's the first part. The second part is where place where the product is used, right? That is how the users are using the product. I would call it as Gemba of value consumption, right? How the output of multiple teams is getting consumed by the customers, right? Best place would be to visit the customer, to get a sense of reality, to talk to customers frequently, right? And try to see, okay, how they are using our product in the real-time ecosystem that they're dealing with, right? So the whole objective here is that the overall input should lead to better problem solving capabilities, because people are collaborating typically by understanding the day-to-day work and trying to understand the problems that we are facing, right? And then trying to typically solve those problems. See, the biggest challenge is we solve the problems without understanding the problems. So problems, we have to understand the problem, we have to be at the shop floor. We have to understand how the teams are working, collaborating, what are the challenges that they're facing, right? And then typically solve those, right? And typically, if you see in the world of scaling agile, the frameworks like safe, less, when you eventually go and understand these frameworks, they are typically addressing this aspect a lot. For example, there's a framework called SAFe. SAFe talks about agile release train. Agile release train is nothing but where the multiple agile teams are providing a solution. They are committing and delivering a solution. Okay. So now in that scenario, how Gemba is applied. Okay. So SAFe talks about its own perspective. Large scale Scrum, the second framework, also talks about, okay, how they apply Gemba when we are dealing with a big organization, multiple agile teams working together, right? But these are the key elements which are typically applied by different scale agile principles, right? Again, as I told you, the whole objective is to improve the flow of the value by the organization. Value can be a solutions or products that you're providing to the customers, right? And the value should continuously flow, right, within the organization and across the organization, so that we keep delivering the value to the customers frequently and sustainably. Right? Again, word of caution. Generally, people in the industry always say that, may ask you that, okay, you mean go and see? Is go and see a micromanagement? No, go and see is not a micromanagement, right? Go and see is is like observe, understand the problem, and then address the problem, right? When you say micromanagement, then it is like go see, I would say interrupt and disappear, right? So yes, so when we are working with multiple teams, and typically how the entire management should be enabling the teams. Now that is the aspect, okay, what is applied across different scale agile framework, and they talk about those, what are various roles, and typically how those roles are involved in addressing the problems of coordination, integration of the work across multiple agile teams, right? So those are the typical dimensions where Gemba is applied in our industry, and typically there are the frameworks which are addressing these aspects of Gemba, all right, within our implementations. Okay, with that, I'll take a pause. So for any questions and answers from the audience here.
Thomas Lee asks, how is lean and agile applied in the Gemba concept?
Okay, very good question. Typically, how is the lean and agile applied in the Gemba concept? You see, this, as I said, Gemba is a best practice which has evolved by the embracing of lean principles by Toyota Production Systems, right? So TPS has really, applied these concepts very well. The value stream map, Gemba, and typically this Kanban. Now, typically, the important part here is that the objective here to understand is the lean is going to address the flow. Okay, the delivery of the work from the development to operations to customer, right? It has to the value has to continuously flow, right? And of course, lean also talks about feedback, right? So you should have constant feedback loops, right? While when you are really coming down to the agility is more applied at the team level. Okay, how the team commits and deliver the work. So what the team commits, are they delivering it, and how they are collaborating. So agile focus is not on collaboration to commit and deliver the work, while Gemba focus is to improve the overall flow across the entire organization, right? And that's where the scaling agile principles are going to apply lean thinking more rigorously to really address these two dimensions, right? And from the agile point of view, yes, the teams have their own metrics, the burn down charts, they commit and deliver the work, right? And but yes, when you're looking more from the Gemba point of view, the roles, okay, the roles at the management level, how they understand the team level challenges, how they address those challenges, those will come into picture, right? Because we want to ensure that multiple teams are delivering value continuously to the customer, right? So lean thinking, I would say, will get applied across the different functions in the organization from the time the work comes in and gets delivered to the customer, and agile will be applied at the team level.
I'm just going to take a quick peek into the questions tab. No, there are no more questions. So I guess with that, we've come to the end of our today's session. I just want to express a heartfelt thank you to Vikas for taking the time out and taking us through the session. Also, thank you, audience, from whichever part of the world you've joined us from, and being a part of today's webinar. We will, however, be conducting more such sessions with Vikas, for which we would request you to kindly log on to the KnowledgeHut website, where you will find under the resources section in events and webinars, you will find all the upcoming webinars related to SAFe and plenty other categories that we will be executing in the coming weeks/months. So we would love to see you for the other sessions as well. If you have any questions or doubts or clarifications, Vikas, I would request you to kindly post your email ID in the chat section so that the audience can reach out to you as well. With that, we've come to the end of the session. Thank you once again so much, and we'll see you guys soon for the next one. Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you, everyone.